is happening, tabletop gamers? My name is LeunameGames. Welcome back to LeunameGames. Today I'm sharing my thoughts on the 2 to 5 player root building game Ticket to Ride by Alan on Moon and published by Days of Wonder. So in Ticket to Ride, everybody is a part of an old group of friends who have gathered together to make a $1 million bet that they can travel the furthest across North America in 7 days. And you are basically trying to win that bet by playing cards and trying to connect cities on the board while trying to complete these tickets to earn bonus points. And if you manage to get the most points by the end of the game, you win the $1 million bet. So, what are my thoughts on Ticket to Ride? Well, let's start with the components. One big negative that I have with the game, and it's because of the components. And I'll go ahead and just state that negative right now. The cards themselves. The cards are literally this big. You can barely even see them on the camera. I'll put up a picture so you can see them better. They're tiny. They're a miniature size. I can easily break these things. It honestly baffles me why they chose to make these cards these size. Why did they not choose to make them regular size? Now, they did make an expansion for the game that did take all these cards and made them regular size, which is nice, but why didn't they just do that in the base game to begin with? I'm not really a fan of just the look for the card. It's on the front with the little train cars and the engine itself. It just seems very bland. The wild card representing the locomotive is alright, but the normal cards representing each color, it just seemed very bland, pretty stale. The artwork for the ticket cards isn't really anything to brag about. It's literally just a map with a board with a bunch of points, and that's it. It's just a map of the board with 2 points and a number on the side. The board itself looks very nice. I really like the aesthetics of the board. I really like the look of the map that they set out. I like how they actually added like a bit of terrain into the area to make it look a bit more lifelike. Not quite sure what they were going for with all the pictures spread out the top and the bottom, but it is what it is. They do look nice, I will say that, but they don't really add much to it. Probably the best part about this game in terms of components is actually the train models themselves, and for being such a small piece, and very thin and hollowed out, but the detail is actually pretty noticeable and pretty good, I gotta say. Overall, the component quality is not bad. Turns are pretty much very simple. On your turn, you either draw cards, it's from either the draw a pile or from the deck, play cards to play trains, or you draw tickets. And that's very simple. It's a very simple game to learn, which is very good because that means you can get a game going in not that long of time. It also means the game shouldn't take that long to get up to speed. One thing that that I really like about the mechanics of the card draws is that you can actually base your strategy and change your strategy based on the cards that are available. Let's say this is what I have here. I have 2 blues, a white, a purple, and a wild. If none of those are the cards that I want, I can just simply pile up on cards that are here, trying to get what I need. Or if I'm still not getting what I need, I can use the cards what I have, and basically you find alternatives to go where I want to go. And that's one thing I really like, because the cards that you draw do not fully dictate what you can and can't place. Let's say, for example, you're trying to go from Salt Lake City to Denver, but you need 3 reds or 3 yellows, but you haven't been getting either of them. You have, however, been getting a lot of purples and greens. Well, and that's the case, well then you can simply lay north and then go south, and you can still make it there. And you're not having to wait to either find 3 reds or 3 yellows just to place those tracks. You can work your way around any limitations that you find yourself in. One big negative that I have with the whole laying of the trains is that the east side of the board, as you can see, is really small. And I mean really small. It's mostly just 2s and 1s. So if you have a bunch of tickets that are resorted around that area, you are basically just laying little points out every few turns, and you're only getting a whopping 2 points every time. Not to mention that a lot of the tickets that are resorted to around the East Coast aren't worth that much. They're only worth, let's say, 4, 6, 8 points. And in every game that I've played of this, the guy who won the game was the guy who was constantly laying down the longest routes, laying down 5 routes, 6 routes, 4 routes, 5, 6. Every single time somebody was doing that, they won the game. That being said, there are a couple longer routes on the East Coast, mainly Miami to Atlanta or Montreal to New York. And if you want to, you can try to mitigate the amount of points lost by building on those longer routes, because the longer routes that you build in a single turn, the more points you get. A single little track only gets you 1 point, but a 6 track will get you 15. So instead of just trying to do the simpler two-way routes, you can try to work your way around to try and get more points, but at the same time you're also putting yourself at risk of getting blocked off. And that's one thing I really like. I do like the bit of tension that's involved. The inevitable tension of, oh, I hope somebody does not take that. I really need that route to get there. So in turn, that might mean you might want to go the shorter route so that you guarantee the points, but also you're not getting as many points on the initial routes. It's this really nice push and pull. Well, do you want to get more points on your routes, or do you want to guarantee getting your tickets finished? Speaking of tickets, I do like the idea of being able to draw for more tickets as the game goes by. If you've completed all your tickets already and you have some routes left out in the open, you can draw more tickets. It's hoping that you can try to get routes that might not be hard to complete at all, well, just with 1 or 2 trains, and you've got them. That's a really nice aspect to it. First off, there's a whole bunch of tickets in the game, so that's going to provide a little bit of replay value to it. And the other thing about the tickets is that it's completely optional. If you have completed all your tickets already, and you just want to just lay a bunch of routes down, you can. If you complete all your tickets, but you want to try and get more bonus points because you're worried that your routes might not be enough to take the win, go for it. You can draw more tickets, try to complete those routes, still get bonus points. However, it's also a gamble that you're taking when you choose to take tickets, because if you don't complete those tickets, then the points that you would have gotten count against you in the final scoring. So if I was trying to get from Montreal to Boston and I couldn't complete that route, those points that I would have gotten if I had completed the ticket would go against my score. So it's another risk factor, or basically saying, do you think you can complete these tickets if you choose to take one? And I like that because it provides options for if you're wanting to be risky or if you want to be safe. When it comes to the theme and how much it's tied into the mechanics, I personally don't think it's tied in at all. Whenever I lay a route down, I don't feel like I'm traveling across North America. I just feel like I'm laying down tracks. So if you were looking for a more thematic train game with a lot of meat to it, this is definitely not one I would recommend to you. However, as an introductory game, gateway game, as you're trying to get somebody into tabletop gaming, or as a nice, relatively quick game to play on a game day in between 2 big box games, this is definitely one that I would recommend. Overall, I think Ticket to Ride is a very good game. It's really simple, easy to learn, but really does offer some tactical decisions and a little bit of risk-taking, which is something I really like. Just like every tabletop game, however, this is not perfect. It has some flaws. The card sizes are way too small. The east side of the board is really jam-packed with each other, whereas the west is way more open, so it's easier to jump out ahead on the west side than with the east. But there is ways to work around on that. If you're looking for a simple game, or you're trying to get someone into tabletop gaming, or you're looking for a game that doesn't take too long to play in between big games on a game day, I would definitely recommend Ticket to Ride. I'm going to give Ticket to Ride an 8 out of 10. So those are my thoughts on Ticket to Ride. With all that said, I want to know, what are your thoughts on Ticket to Ride? Do you like Ticket to Ride? Do you hate Ticket to Ride? Are you just in the middle? Let me know in the comments below. We can have a conversation about it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you like what I do, feel free to hit the subscribe button to stay notified whenever I post. Thank you all so much as always for watching, and I will see you in the next video. But until next time, see you later!